certainty of death, small chance of success. What are we waiting for?
Fellas, I feel this is my lucky day.
Brilliant.
And welcome to another episode of Rankum. It's going to be a fun one today. We're here to talk about top 12 Seinfeld episodes, and I've got a great panel here. I've got JPO. JPO, how's it going?
Hello! Someone had to say it, so I figured why not me.
Love.
Yeah, I too might break up with certain people. Keep that voice. Now, I've always loved Seinfeld. This is one of those ones where, like, I'm 99% sure I've seen every episode. Because even like doing study for this, I was like, yep, see the same thing. Because it's not one of those like it's old school. This is just from watching it on TBS and TNT, for years growing up. You know what I mean? Not on DVD going episode 3, episode 4. So, but no, I've always loved the show. Big like dinner time watch with the family and stuff. So yeah, happy to be here.
We've also got Piers here. Piers, how's it going?
No, same here. It's my favorite sitcom of all time, maybe my favorite show of all time. I'm the same as JPO. There was always like an hour block, around dinner time that me and my dad would watch. So like get a double dose. I've seen all of them. Binge watch it on Hulu and Netflix to this day, and we'll still just scroll through. So yeah, I have a list of my favorites, but I'm pretty loose on this one. If you bring up, a topic or one that I love, I'm probably going to say yes. And only top 12. Well, not that there's anything wrong with that. It's fine.
And last but not least, we've got Eric here. Eric, how's it going?
Yeah, it's doing good. I'm far from the opposite of a 90s kid. I'm barely a 90s kid, a 99 kid. But I did watch it while I was getting ready for middle school. I used to watch Seinfeld while I was learning English, so I learned a couple of stuff from watching Seinfeld in English. And somebody who likes to talk using their hands a lot, I can relate to Seinfeld. Giddy up.
But yeah, with that, how this is going to work, let's go around and nominate an episode that belongs on a top 12 Seinfeld episodes list. And then everyone else will say yes or no to it. Because they only got 4 people, it will come down to the 3 panels. But before we get started, I've got one question here.
All right, want to get nuts? Come on. Let's get nuts!
Who wants to have some fun? I want to have some fun. I'm just saying I want to have some fun.
I mean, that's probably me today. I'm just saying I want to have fun because, as people know, I'm not as high on Seinfeld as other people. But I've definitely seen the episodes. I watched them all for the first time. Would have been last year. But JPO, what is the first episode you're going to bring up?
It's funny. I never noticed till kind of doing some studying for the show that, like, on paper, a lot of these premises are kind of like boring or bland, but it just goes to credit to the writers and the actors. So the first one I'll go with is Seinfeld for Chinese restaurant. I'll nominate that right off the top here. There's a couple of them where they're kind of secluded episodes here. They're just waiting with the great old James Hong to give him a call. The bribery goes wrong. Everyone, it's the main group together, which is always fun. Sometimes they're separated, which can also be super fun. But I think it's fun when they're together as well here. And, the final part of it, too, is always great when they finally get called, but they're not there.
Piers, what do you say about the Chinese restaurant?
Yeah, it's on my kind of greater list. And again, if you bring up a really great or classic episode that kind of everybody knows, I'm probably going to say yes. So I'm not going to be too picky about the top 12 tonight because the comments are going to be, what about this episode? Well, yeah, I know. We could do a top 50 of Seinfeld episodes. We could do this all night. But yeah, it's kind of a quintessential premise of the show, of the little show about nothing. What's the whole premise of this episode? They're waiting to get a table at a Chinese restaurant, and they're just in the lobby area, and like that's it. That's the whole premise.
On paper,
and it's just on paper. You're like 20 minutes of that. Like, how are you going to make that work? And they make it work. Yeah. It's also a fascinating one because it's one of the few Kramer-less episodes. Kramer's not in this episode. He has like one or two less credits than everybody else's because he wasn't in this particular episode.
And
so
there's
just
one
kind
about
of
George,
fascinating.
and then Lane's missing it early on. Yeah.
Yeah, Elaine has one missing early on. George misses, I think, one in the second season, something like that. But yeah, still, I love James Hong. Yeah, he has like perfect delivery just throughout the episode. And yeah, it's a quintessential like early episode as far as the premise being stretched in a way that you wouldn't think would work, but it does. So yeah, I'll give it a yes.
Eric, what do you say about the Chinese restaurant?
Cartwright. Yes,
Cartwright.
I yelled Cartwright, nobody came. Yeah, this is going to be the very first one I was going to mention. I think it's the very first truly great episode of Seinfeld. It's season 2 around. Not that there was anything wrong with the other episodes of that season. Yeah, 211. And this one is one of the funniest ones. Yeah, as mentioned by Pez, Kramer is not here, but that doesn't detract from the episode. I think, and in fact, this is the one mentioned in the episode of The Pitch, where that time we were in the Chinese restaurant waiting. That could be an episode. So this is one of the personal favorites of the writers, I would have to guess. So yes, it's definitely yes for me.
Yeah, this is and yes for me as well. Like this is one of the ones I remember enjoying just for everyone else sort of said. And yeah, I didn't notice that Kramer was in here because I'm not a big fan of Kramer as a character anyway, so it didn't bother me. So yeah, so Chinese as it would have been a yes for me as well. So the Chinese restaurant is going to make the list. Piers, we go to you next. What is your next nomination?
Yeah, I'll go with the quintessential episode, and really, I believe it's the first one that actually won them an Emmy for writing. Let's go with season 4, The Contest. Pretty quintessential episode of Seinfeld. Everybody knows it's the Master of Your Domain episode. It's basically the episode where they have a contest to see who can hold out the longest without. Well, they never mention the word masturbate, but that's what it's about. But that's the cleverness of the writing is they never actually mention what they're talking about. We just all sort of know, even from the initial thing where George walks in and says, "My mother caught me." And we're just wondering what he said. He just kind of explains the situation, and everybody goes, "Oh!" And again, brilliant writing. How they kind of weave around it and weave in and out of the premise. You get all the temptations through episode. The lady across the way that walks around her house naked. Elaine, even with John F. Kennedy Jr. at the gym and her being tempted by him. Jerry's dating the virgin, Marlo the virgin. So, it all just works. And again, the cleverness of the writing. This is where I think the show took off as far as the editing of the episodes and the bouncing between the multiple storylines. I think between the characters, it really found its rhythm. And I think it's a really quintessential episode and one that I think even most people know without even seeing the episode. So I'll go The Contest.
Eric, what do you say about The Contest?
Yes, I saw this one way too young to be watching episodes about this, but it's a lot of fun. It's also on my list. So yes, give me a Master of Your Domain.
Yeah, this is one of those episodes I've heard a lot about before I watched Seinfeld. But I'm honestly not a big fan of this episode. I get it's probably a big famous one that a lot of people know, but I never really liked the episode. It was just really stupid premise, to be honest. So I'm going to be a no on this one. JPO, what do you say about The Contest?
Don't worry, I got your back. Hell yeah. This is the first joke I made in our private chat coming up to this. Again, as you mentioned, it's really clever writing because it's the most PG you can get about a masturbation contest. Because I remember even kind of later on thinking how did my mom let me watch this? But it's true, they never directly say it, and I think that's kind of it's actually weirdly enough, people was totally fine with it. I think so. It's a yes. It's a good episode.
Yeah. Of that, The Contest is still going to make the list. I meant to do this at the start, but some of my takes on some of these episodes will have people saying this.
Are you crazy? This is like discovering plutonium by accident!
I even know what episode that's from. That's where he tries to, or he ends up getting in a menage a trois, or is open to the premise. Yeah.
And we've also got a commentary about the episode 2, who also sort of thinks it's in the middle of the pack episode, but it's top 10. But Eric, what is the next episode you're going to bring up?
Yeah, my next one, it's not. It's one of those that separates all the members, like in a very clever way. It's the subway one. I think all of their plot lines are very funny. Like Jerry talking to the naked guy, and uh, that's the problem. You should be ashamed of your body. and why am I forgetting Elaine heading to the lesbian wedding? And I hate men, but I'm not a lesbian. And Kramer, especially with the horse betting, like his father was a mother, his mother was a mother. Huh. What am I talking about? Yeah, Subway is great. It has a lot of great quotes. One of those packed ones. Yeah, it's very fun. The Subway. Yeah.
Yeah, this is one of those episodes that I only sort of vaguely remember. I remember not liking it a lot, but it's also one of those ones like for most of these episodes, like I don't outright hate them either. I just think they're just fine. So I'm just gonna go slight no on the Subway. JPO, what do you say about the Subway?
I'm a little on the fence too. Well, I do like the episode. I don't know if there's an episode I actually dislike, but well, I do like it. I don't know if it's super high, but it is a good one. Like I said, the last few I'm a little torn on here, so I'll give it a slight yes and see what that says.
Thanks.
Piers, what do you say?
Yeah, I'm on the fence about this one. The first 3 seasons can be a little hit or miss for me. I think season 4 is where they really kind of kicked into high gear, and they all have their highlights. I think this one's all right. It has its moments. It's not one of the ones I go back to, so I'm gonna give it a slight no.
That Subway is not going to make the list, and it's on to me. And for this one, I'm just going. This is probably my favorite one of there. I'm just going to play this clip and see if you'll probably know what one it's going to be when I play the clip.
They're real and they're spectacular.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm talking about the episode The Implant. This is one of the one in which like Elaine believes that Jerry's girlfriend has breast implants, and then but it's just one of those ones I think is an entertaining episode, and just especially with that great. I kind of really love Terry Hatcher. I think she's really good at comedy as well. So I'm going to try for this one and see what happens. JPO, what do you say about The Implants?
There's another one where like, yeah, I'm aware, but I'm not as high on this one as I am several others. So it's gonna be a side note for me.
Piers, what do you say about The Implant?
Yeah, it's a very memorable like celebrity cameo and whatnot, or a celebrity plotline. They have a few of those throughout the show. I think the George, running thing about him trying to him flying and then doing the double dipping the chip at the funeral and all that stuff. Like again, there's good moments, like memorable moments that would make like a clip show. I don't know if it's one of the ones that I think clicks from top to bottom. That's kind of what I'm going for in these episodes, is the one that just cooks, from start to finish. So the great moments throughout the whole thing, but it's again not one of those upper echelons for me, so I'll say no.
And Eric, what do you say about The Implant?
Yeah, this one didn't make my list, although it's a very memorable final line, especially like I always remember that watching that one in the TV. I'm not super married to my list, but I think there's plenty of good, great ones. And this one, I'm having a hard time remembering what else happens to that episode, but that could happen with a lot of those. So I'll give it a no. But it's a good one. Almost every episode is a good one.
But JPO, what is the next episode you're going to bring up?
I'll go season 3, episode 6. Another kind of self-contained one, where again the premise is just simply, where the fuck is the car?
The parking garage.
Yeah. Again, a simple premise, but done executed well here. Beginning of Kramer carrying the big conditioner to she's trying to save a goldfish at one point. There's even the peeing. It's all simple stuff, but all just I think works out so well here. So nominate the parking garage. See what people say.
Piers, what do you say about the parking garage?
Yeah, this is one of the better, like again, early kind of first 3 season episodes. And yeah, again, a very like silly, unique premise of like, yeah, they're just wandering around a parking garage. What's so special about that? Well, they make it work, and the chemistry of the characters, they're all together. I appreciate some of these episodes where they're all just kind of tooling around together and bouncing off each other. They each have their own motivations. Yeah, Jerry just has to pee, eventually tries to pee in the corner and just, gets caught and whatnot. And yeah, everybody's trying to get to a certain place, and it works. works. So yeah, you know what? I'll say yes for the parking garage.
Eric, what do you say about the parking garage?
Yeah, this is also yes for me. I like this type of episodes that are very grounded on a single location. I like what they're going to pee, and both of them are trying to. I think it's actually George's anniversary, their anniversary, parents' anniversary. But Jerry tries to do that first. It's also your parents' anniversary and all that. This one is a really fun one with Elaine trying to convince people to give them a ride because she has the fish. Like everyone has a reason to be like rushing to find the car, besides the obvious trying to find your car. But it's a great one. Yeah, parking garage. Yes.
Yeah, the parking garage. It's one I definitely remember just because of them whole walking around this parking garage. And yeah, it's just one of those ones I really enjoyed. So parking garage is going to get my vote. So it's going to make the list. Piers was the next one you're going to bring up.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump to season. This is the finale, season 5, I believe. Yeah, I was looking at the opposite. I think it's a critical kind of turning point for a lot of the characters here. It's a finale where George, is in the dumps at the beginning of the episode, thinking that every decision he's made is wrong. And Jerry convinces him to try the opposite. That if every instinct is wrong, the opposite must be right. And it instantly kind of turns his life around, and he becomes obsessed with it. He calls it his religion in the episode. And it's a fun balance because George is on the upswing, Elaine goes on the downswing after losing this big gig because of juju fruits in her mouth, and starts losing her job. Jerry is right in the middle. He calls himself Even Steven because he keeps evening out, playing poker with comedy gigs and all that. And even Kramer, this is the episode where he goes on Regis and Kathy Lee with the coffee table book. So I mean, again, everybody has funny premises throughout the whole thing, just weaving together. And again, a critical kind of storyline episode because this is where George gets hired with the Yankees. So it's a very kind of pivotal long storyline with George and the Yankees. So yeah, I'm gonna go the opposite. Again, great writing and a great premise.
Eric, what do you say about the opposite?
Yeah, my instinct is telling me to give it a yes, but the opposite will be a no. So what should I do with this one? No, this is a great one. This is one of the very eventful episodes for a show about nothing. A lot happens in this one, and this one's really fun as well. So yeah, should I say no, meaning yes? It's a yes.
Yeah, this is one of those ones I do really like the episode, but it's just one of those ones that there's a lot of the episodes in probably the top half that I really do enjoy. So I'm just because I like it. I promised myself I wasn't going to be too harsh on what I see or no to in this one, just because of me not being a bigger fan of Seinfeld than the other ones on the panel. I'll give it this yes. JPO, what do you say about the opposite?
Yeah, another good one where everyone's kind of involved and getting their own little funny moments here. So yeah, I'm happy to say yes.
With that, the opposite totally doesn't make the list. It does, but Eric, we go to you. What is your next nomination?
Yeah, I'm going for one of the obvious one. We already mentioned it a couple of times. I'm going for season 4, episode 17, The Outing, and not that there's anything wrong with that. Yeah, that's one of those phrases that from Seinfeld that has become like a regular usage, especially in this situation. I found very funny how they try to balance that fact, we are not homophobic and all that, and then George trying to convince the girl that you want to have sex right now. You want to have sex with me right now. It's just really fun when she's eavesdropping and all that. It's one of those really funny ones that brought up this conversation into the 90s. Well, not that brought it up, but it made it popular once again to talk about it. And then the rest is history. Not that there's anything wrong with that and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is one I remember just for that quote. But other than that, I honestly don't remember a lot about this episode. I just want to find really actually got it on my list. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go slight no on this one. JPO, what do you say about the outing?
No, I think this is a pretty good one here. I'm looking at my list. Yeah, no, I'm gonna say yes to this one.
And Piers, what do you say about the outing?
Yeah, this is on my short list. I think this is like another example of getting great writing for what should be a pretty simple premise of like they get mistaken as two gay guys. Okay, it's a pretty simple premise, but the point is they keep getting caught in these very awkward situations. Talking about the gym class, talking about the going for a steam. Kramer, I thought we were gonna go for a steam. The two-way phone miscommunication where Kramer thinks he got him a two-line phone, but you can hear on the other end, and the girl hears the conversation about, oh, I guess we fooled her, sarcastically, and then just the back and forth. No, people's sexual preferences should be their own. Nobody else's business. Again, it's great writing and great performances. I think George and Jerry really sell this in the episode, and that's what really makes it. Is kind of the over top reactions and performances. So it's on my short list. It's one I go back to a lot. So I'll say yes.
The outing is going to make the list. It's on to me, and I'm gonna try for this one, see what happens. But I'm gonna go for the Pez dispenser. But this is one that I remember liking a lot, and just it's one of those ones like just when someone makes a mistake, and then there's just kind of goes sort of all over the place, and but it's just sort of entertaining, especially with the whole like Pez dispenser incidents as well. I think it's one of those ones that I think is entertaining. But JB, what do you say about the Pez dispenser?
I do enjoy moments from it. There's just others that I'm higher on, so I'm gonna say no.
Pez, what do you say about the Pez dispenser?
Will Pez say yes to the Pez dispenser, even though he has a Funko Pop of Jerry with a Pez dispenser in his hand? Again, it's a fun moment, and I like the Pez dispenser stuff and the back and forth with George and his girlfriend, kind of trying to have the upper hand in the breakup. But it's not one of the ones I'm gonna go back to, so I'm gonna give it a slight no.
And Eric, what do you say about the Pez dispenser?
Yeah, I'm breaking up with you. That's a fun one, but I'm just remembering. I don't remember which episode is exactly, but there's a very similar plot line where somebody that something happens with Elaine that she has to give toilet paper to somebody, and that plot specifically is funnier in that one than in this one, like the one with the laughter. I'm going to give it a yes, but because it's not going to make it, so to feel good about it.
But JPO, we go back to you. What is your next nomination?
I'm gonna nominate. Let's see. I think it's an early one. Yeah, season 2-5. The library. Was really funny. Philip Baker Hall as the guy coming back for the book all those years later. Here, we get a rare flashback sequence as well. And then even the kind of tag at the end. Can't stand you. Can't stand you. I love the the setup of all that. So I'll nominate the library.
Here's what you say about the library.
JPO, I love my character actors, and I love me some Philip Baker Hall. And yeah, this is one of the highlights of his career. I think he sells the shit out of this character. Like he goes full bore, 100% with Mr. Bookman. Yeah, I would have watched a whole thing about Mr. Bookman going after overdue like library book people, and it works. And yeah, his interactions with Jerry, just constantly cornering him in the apartment, and just you Seinfeld, just always going after him. Again, it's a simple premise that hinges on the performances, but I don't mind those early episodes that really where the performances kind of really sell it and make it memorable. So I'll give it a yes for the library.
Eric, what do you say about the library?
Yeah, this is one of the great. I'm pretty sure this is the only time he appears in the series. He's one of the very memorable ones. You can see Jerry Seinfeld trying to hold his laughter when he's in the same scene as him because Philip Baker Hall is so good in this one. Yeah, it's a really good early one. I'm going to say yes as well.
Yeah, if we're talking about like Seinfeld side characters or Seinfeld characters in general, then I probably would say yes, this just because of the character of Mr. Bookman alone. But unfortunately, when it comes to the episode, I didn't really like the episode that much. Like, well, Mr. Bookman was good, the highlight of the episode, but other than that, I don't remember much else about it. So I would have gone no, but it's going to make the list anyway. Piers, what is the next episode you're going to bring out?
I'm going to go with one that just really, really makes me laugh, and is a great kind of payoff episode if you've been really invested in the series and all the different character tropes and whatnot. I'm going to go with the chicken roaster. This is the Kenny Rogers Roasters episode, and particularly where, it's shining through Kramer's apartment, the light, and he can't sleep. So he switches apartments with Jerry, and Jerry essentially becomes Kramer, and Kramer becomes Jerry while they're living in each other's apartments. So, it has stuff where Jerry is imitating Crazy, slides into the apartment. He's doing all the, oh, I'm stressed. He's doing, my friend Bob Sacramento, and he becomes Kramer. And it's really great. Kramer is at the coffee shop, talking with, Elaine and whatnot, and they're just having he's doing the I don't like this idea, all that kind of stuff. George has a great plot line with the Russian hat that he loses, and the back and forth hostage exchange with his girlfriend, and even Elaine's plot line has a great button where she's the president, but she's charging all the stuff to the account. They need to fire her, but she has to get Peterman's permission to sign off on the expenses. And he's in Burma, and he's acting like Colonel Kurtz from Apocalypse Now, and even doing like the Apocalypse Now monologues, the Marlon Brando stuff at the end. Again, some great moments from top to bottom. Great Newman moment where he spits out the broccoli, the vile weed, trying to get Kramer the chicken. Again, just a really funny episode, just start to finish, where every single scene is hilarious, and it's one of the ones I just go back to a lot, and a great payoff if you love these characters for a long time. So I'll go the chicken roaster.
Eric, what do you say about the chicken roaster?
Oh, I'm stressed.
Oh, I'm stressed.
Yeah, that's a good one. I was forgetting which one we were talking about until you went to that part.
Yeah.
Besides that, I don't remember much, but I do remember that. That's the one. That's the Jerry Seinfeld line I use the most. Oh, I'm stressed. I think I'm not the first one to say he's my least favorite of the main four, but that shouldn't be a hot take. But he's really good in this one. I'm on the fence. I'll give it a yes and see what happens, because I'm the first one, and I hate when that happens.
But yeah, I remember. I always enjoy the episodes of TV where like something happens that causes characters to sort of either switch or become the other person due to circumstances. And I thought this one was just a really entertaining one because of that. And yes, so it's just one of those ones that I've always found entertaining. And yeah, so it's going to be yes for me for the chicken roaster. JPO, what do you say about the chicken roaster?
No, I would have given this one a yes as well. So
that the chicken roaster is going to make the list. And Eric, we go back to you for your explanation.
Yeah. I'm going with a two-parter. I'm going with season 3, episodes 17 and 18. The boyfriend, the one with Kid Hernandez. I think this one has a lot of really fun moments. Yeah, like who does this guy think he is? Oh, I'm Kid Hernandez. Mine. And then the whole recreate. I haven't seen JFK until ever, but I know that recreation of the spitting.
It's exactly really like the movie, the way they do it in the episode. And what makes it even better, Eric, is Wayne Knight was in JFK. If you don't know that,
okay.
Wayne Knight, Newman is on. It's with Kevin Costner, like on his little investigative committee, in JFK, which makes it even more ironic that he's participating in it. So,
yeah, I think I've heard of that. And then Kid Hernandez goes like, "Have you seen JFK? We're gonna go to the theater," something like that. And then there's the episode where George pretends to have like an interview with Vandalay Industries, like Vandalay. He goes out of the bathroom. And you wanted me to hire you to be my latex salesman. Yes. This is a great two-parter. It's really fun. Vote for it.
So it's the boyfriend episode, was it?
The boyfriend.
Yeah, the boyfriend.
Yeah. I quite like this episode. I think it's one of those ones. I think not too long before I actually got to this episode when I watched Seinfeld when it dropped on Netflix, I'd not long watched JFK. So it was kind of fresh in my mind as well with that parody. So it was like I felt it was probably more entertaining than what it necessarily was. But it's going to be yes for me for the boyfriend. JPO, what do you say about the boyfriend?
Yeah, now this is on my list as well here. Yeah, what would it use a a non-usual guest star here as well. There's really funny stuff between him and Jerry as well. The JFK stuff, which is funny from the get-go, even funnier when like you gotta know more about it later on. So it works in both ways. So yeah.
And Piers, what do you say about the boyfriend?
Yeah, it was funny, Eric, because I just saw JFK all the way through. I remember I started it years ago, and then I finished it last year. And yeah, when they get to the monologue about the magic bullet, it's literally exactly the same, almost line for line, the way Jerry talks about the magic loogie. And this one, the loogie then making a right turn and slipped off of Kramer's shirt onto Newman's face. No, it's very, very funny. Yeah, the way the whole thing is staged, and again, the performances really work. This is one of the early standout Newman episodes because of his performance. And the way he sneers and looks at Keith Hernandez and the little flashbacks, yeah, it really works. So yeah, great use of a celebrity kind of cameo for real. So yeah, I'll say yes to the boyfriend.
That the boyfriend is gonna make the list.
It's funny, some of the titles, like I'm like the boyfriend, oh, the magic loogie, like JFK, like Keith Hernandez episode, yeah, that one. Some of the titles sometimes throw me off, but like then when you're like, oh, it's the magic loogie episode, okay, yeah, I know exactly what you're
saying. Again, he's coming from just watching on TV, like you never really saw the episode name.
Yeah.
But for me, the next episode I'm going to bring up is the Bubble Boy. I thought this is an entertaining episode. It was like the gang go up to Susan's family's cabin, and then they visit I can't remember the name of the father's now son who lives in a bubble and that because germ-free environment and all that. And I thought it was just an entertaining episode, especially when they're sort of playing Trivial Pursuit with Bubble Boy, with the Bubble Boy, and it's just I think it's just one thing I think it's just entertaining, especially when like they accidentally puncture the bubble and all the chaos happens, and I think it's just entertaining. But JPO, what do you say about the Bubble Boy?
I do like this. It's very memorable. It's a good, interesting one too that breaks of the season. I think I just have things a little higher now that we're kind of like halfway. So I'm going to say slight no. See what everyone else says.
Piers, what do you say about the Bubble Boy?
It's a good episode with a couple of great scenes. The Moops thing is funny, and whatnot. But again, I don't know. The Jerry and Elaine stuff at the diner, with the autograph picture doesn't work as well for me. I think the Bubble Boy stuff is kind of the stuff that works best. And I like these episodes that I'm calling out where kind of the whole episode just clicks from start to finish. So I'll give it a slight no.
And Eric, what do you say about the Bubble Boy episode?
Yeah, I have similar reason to JPO. Every time I come to rank him, then we get very fast with the list, and then when it's the last 3 spots, oh no, there's so many great episodes.
Now we're at the point where it's like I need more convincing. Yeah.
Now we got to get serious. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say no because of that, but I had it on my list, but like from the other end, not as close to my heart as other episodes.
And random fact I found out about this was that apparently the very first malware of its kind was named after this episode.
JPO, the Bubble Boy episode of Seinfeld versus the Bubble Boy movie. Which one are you taking?
I don't mind the movie, but the episode.
Right. Okay.
JPO, we go to you next. What is your next nomination?
All right, it's a spin-off show, everybody. Welcome to the Merv Griffin Show. Season 9 episode here. One, I've always just loved that simple premise. I've always wanted to do that myself, just find like a nice backdrop and host a talk show. But even besides that, again, there's some good stuff with Elaine and the Tic Tacs. I also really love the other premise of them drugging the girl just so they can play with her toys. Because again, it's like it's so evil, but like you're like, yeah, man, I want to play with those toys too. Like, all right, getting her on wine and turkey for the most part. Kramer wanting to have a more edgy show, so he outs him at the end. And this has always been kind of a favorite of mine. So I'll go with Merv Griffin Show.
But Piers, what do you say about the Merv Griffin Show?
I had a trivia group for a Seinfeld trivia night one time. We called it Scandals and Animals because that's what he switches to for the format. Later in the show, we got to make it edgier. Scandals and Animals. That's very funny. I love the side plot of Jerry. I like anytime episode where Jerry acts like a child, and you get a lot of child Jerry in this one. Playing with the toys, playing with the diver, and just being really silly. More heavy gravy. George brought home movies of his trip to Michigan. Just great stuff. Just act really silly, and just Kramer becoming full on talk show host, just talking to his friends is just inherently a hilarious premise. Going to breaks, snacking on chips during the commercials, saying we're back. Like, just it's absurd and hilarious, and it's absolutely the absurdity of like season 9 of Seinfeld, which I really love. So it's a big yes. It's on my list for the Merv Griffin show.
Yeah. And Eric, what did you say about the Merv Griffin show?
This is tough. Like, I was forgetting. I was considering saying no, but then I remember the toy part. I remember that's kind of the reason why they get thrown into jail in the final episode. The spoilers for somebody who hasn't seen Seinfeld, but that's a really fun plot line. But there's only so many spots left. I'm gonna say no, but it's a really good episode. But
and I thought this episode was really fun, and this is one of those ones where, as I just quickly read up about it just to remind myself about it. This is what so I didn't realize it at the time, but this is one of the few episodes in which you don't see Jerry's apartment because they had to actually dismantle the Jerry's apartment set to make room for Kramer's apartment because of all the because they had to replicate the Merv Griffin shows and all that. But the episode I thought it was really entertaining, and so I'm going to say yes to this. JPO, what do you say about the Merv Griffin? But
He brought up the Merv Griffin.
I still love it.
Yeah, it's great.
It's going to make the list. Piers, what do you say about the Merv Griffin show?
Okay, if you no, I said yes already. We yeah.
No, I know what
what is my next nomination? I'll tell you what my next nomination is. Are we really going to have a list like this and ensue the wrath of the comments if we do not have the Soup Nazi episode on this one? I mean, you kind of have to. Like, again, it's another episode that I think even mainstream people, even if you haven't seen Seinfeld, you know what the Soup Nazi is. You know the no soup for you. But again, even the premise of it, again, an absurd nonsense premise about this guy who just holds his soup hostage unless you order properly. But everybody has their own interactions with him, and it's different. Jerry is with his girlfriend and doing the schmoopy thing, which gets him into trouble. George, complains about the bread, so he doesn't get his. Of course, Kramer is best friends with the Soup Nazi, as he would be. Of course, it's just so silly and absurd. Elaine trying to get the Soup Nazi's arm wire and being jumped by the gay guys who come back for the AIDS walk episode as well. So they're fun little side characters. We're taking this arm wire. We're taking this, and it's really great. So again, a perfect example of a crazy character that enters and becomes part of like bigger pop culture lore. So I think you can't really have a list on this without the Soup Nazi.
Eric, what do you say about the Soup Nazi?
Yeah, no soup for you. This definitely has to make the list. I think one of those the very first ones that get stuck into your head, even if you haven't watched Seinfeld, as Pat said. Mm-hmm. So we should have the Soup Nazi at the very least, because at the rate we're going to miss a lot of great episodes that haven't been mentioned. But this one should make it, so it's a yes for
me. Just quickly to answer Michael's question, we currently have 9 episodes on our short list. So there's 3 spots left. Mm-hmm. Look. As I said with the library, if this was like Seinfeld characters thing, I would have said yes to the Soup Nazi. But unfortunately, with this episode, aside from this no soup for you quote, I don't remember much else about the episode. I remember the Soup Nazi bits a lot, but I don't much else as me. So I would have said no. But JPO, what do you say about the Soup Nazi?
No, I think Soup Nazi still belongs. I mean, the dude is still on cameo this today as this Soup Nazi, like whatnot. So I think it's still the test of time, and the premise it's executed so well. So I think it's still it belongs there.
It's actually the one clip I didn't pull for this, and was the no soup for you.
How dare you?
But the Soup Nazi is going to make the list here. And we got, so that gives us 2 spots left. Yeah, 2 spots left. Eric, what is your next nomination?
Yeah, just pretend this is something else. Pretend it's a golf ball. It's the marine biologist. I don't remember which one, especially in the season is, but this is the one where obviously George pretends to be something he is not, and but he doesn't get a chance to prove it until the very end. But with the whale and all stuff, and I love the way it ties up back to the Kramer plotline when he's playing golf. Just that monologue at the very end is just one of my favorite moments of Seinfeld. I believe it's not going to make it, but let's see what happens.
This is one of those episodes which I actually quite enjoyed. Weirdly enough, like this is one that spoke to me, and it's just, I think it's just one of those ones that I think it's entertaining. And especially when it's like with George just trying to pretend to be this marine biologist, who's like, and just to impress a crush and all that, and just and I thought it was entertaining. So I would have said yes. JPO, what do you say about the marine biologist?
You said yes?
Yeah, I said yes.
I'll say no. So I'm not sure if the whole leads up to just the end, and I'll leave it up to Pez.
Oh no, not again! Damn you!
Is what he said in the marine biologist.
I'll tell you my reason for saying no. That's an amazing monologue, and it's again a great piece of written Seinfeld lore. George, the sea was angry that day, my friends. No, it's great. The only problem is the other half of the episode is not memorable at all. It's like the electronic organizer thing going off with like the Russian author in the limo, and like it doesn't really go anywhere. And I think the other half of the episode doesn't really click that much, and I think that everything it's kind of an okay episode that comes to a great conclusion with the monologue. So while again, it's a great moment, it's in all the clip shows and whatnot. As far as a complete, really funny start to finish episode, I'm going to say no.
Yeah, but
that was my hesitation.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Because I looked up, sometimes I'll look up real quick and see like what the other like plot lines of the episode are, and if they all kind of click and like work, like I'm with it. But that one, like the other half, I don't remember at all. Like with the Russian author guy, it just it's whatever.
But that for my next nomination, I don't know how this is going to go. But I'm going to bring up the finale, the final episode. And this is one of those ones that I think it was just entertaining, especially when you got like all these cast of characters that that you've had over the past episodes coming back. Because like people like Babu, and Gerardo Rivera popping up in there somewhere as well. But it's just one of those ones like a lot of cameos, but I think it was just entertaining just to see this like whole Good Samaritan, which I don't know if it's an actual thing or not. If whether it's just some American law or something. I don't know if it's an actual law or if it's something made up for the episode. But just seeing them thrown into jail for like doing something nice for people is just weird, but it's still weirdly entertaining at the same time. But JPO, what do you say about the finale?
I do think it's underrated, funny enough, but it's not in my top like 12, so I gotta say no.
Piers, what do you say about the finale?
Yeah, to me, I don't hate the finale for what it is, calling back to just their, irreparable behavior throughout the entire show. Because I think that's kind of the point, is that they never just like do the right thing and they're constantly just making bad decisions. So I appreciate that as like a general callback. But the episode itself is kind of a lot of member berries, and it might as well be a clip show because it's like, oh, there's Babu, there's the soup Nazi, there's the marble rye lady, whatever, all just like dunking on them. And like, I appreciate the member berries like aspect of it or whatever, but it might as well just be a clip show. And I just thought that overall was kind of disappointing as a finale, but it has its moments. I don't hate it, but I'll say no.
Eric, what do you say about the finale?
Yeah, as I said earlier, I think I don't hate the episode. I don't remember much of else besides the callback to the very first episode about the 3-button shirt and all that. I like that one. But besides that, I don't remember much. I would have said no.
But with that, JPO, we go back to you. What is your next nomination?
To show that you don't need to be Christopher Nolan or Quentin Tarantino to have a great out of time frame episode. I go for the reverse episode in The Betrayal from season 9, told in kind of like backwards chronology. You continually see the lollipop growing bigger, bigger, bigger. You get more realization as to what's going on, why decisions were made, why things were done, and it's both funny and I think also unique and interesting as well. So not only The Betrayal.
Piers, what do you say about The Betrayal?
It might be the only episode of Seinfeld I actively dislike. I don't like that episode at all.
No.
And I hate the backwards aspect. I hate it. It's one I always
Love
skip
it.
when I'm binging. I go right to the next episode.
No.
I can't stand it. I don't like Memento either, so maybe that's on me. I don't like backwards stories. I don't like it. I don't think it just doesn't click with me as an episode. I get the concept. I appreciate them trying to do something different. But it's if I had to pick an episode of Seinfeld, I genuinely dislike it's that one. It's the backwards episode, so it's a resounding no for me. Actually, you picked probably if I was ranking all the episodes, this would be at the very bottom, unfortunately. So sorry.
I saw your face as I was talking. I was like, I don't think he's enjoying this.
No.
But Eric, what do you say about The Betrayal?
Yeah, I remember liking the episode. I don't remember what happens at all, even reading the plot just now. But I'm sure it's good. I'm sure I laughed when I was watching it, but I don't remember. So no, but I'm sure it's good. I have to watch it again.
It's all right, JP. I got you. I actually really enjoyed this episode. I would have said yes, but it's just one of those ones like I always appreciate when some shows do try to do some of these like creative things, like do a verse episode of something like that, just to do something different. But it was just, and I was really intrigued by the plot as well. So I think it was just entertaining, but unfortunately, it's not going to make the list. Here's what is your next nomination?
So I'll go with another one that it's a great payoff episode if you've really followed the series for a long time and has a lot of great details and just little nuances. I'm gonna go with the Bizarro Jerry, where they meet the Bizarro group essentially and the other world that is existing, where Elaine starts dating the Bizarro Jerry. We meet Feldman, the Bizarro Kramer. We meet Eugene, the Bizarro, George, and even at the end we get to see the apartment. The apartment is completely detailed of like instead of a bicycle, it's a unicycle. You get instead of Newman, it's Vargas, and he's a delivery guy instead of a mailman. Just like the little nuances they put into the episode. Even the rest of the episode, the plot lines work because this is also the Jerry dating Manhands episode, which is some great just comedy in its own with her with the big giant hands. George uses her picture. Again, it all intertwines. George uses her picture to get into the supermodel like club and pretend like he's dating supermodels. It's also the episode where Kramer gets a job at the office, if you remember, and he's working for Brant Leland, and then gets fired from the job that he never had in the first place. And the great thing where I'm just trying to get ahead. So again, all the plot lines work and are very funny in this one, and it's a great payoff if you've been a super fan of Seinfeld and you appreciate the little details of all the characters, and when they meet face to face on the street, it's a great moment. So the Bizarro Jerry is my nomination.
Eric, what do you say about the Bizarro Jerry?
Yeah, I was forgetting what happened in that episode. Like that's on me mostly because
I took notes on all my stuff of all the different plot lines and all the ones I wanted to nominate, so I could at least bring them up and remind you.
No, that's good. You were prepared, and I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I do think we should have more later seasons episode on this list because there's a couple of really good ones. Some people don't like as much season 7 to 9. I do like those seasons a lot.
I love season to 9.
Yeah.
7 to 9 I think is just absurdly funny, like in almost every episode. It's great.
I do really like those seasons. This is not one of the ones that sticks out for me, and we have like 2 spots left, so I probably would say no, but it's a good one, like most of them are.
I remember enjoying this episode a lot. And I believe, if I remember rightly, in the Bizarro Jerry's apartment, you've got a Bizarro Superman in the background.
A Bizarro Superman instead of a Superman statue. It's literally Bizarro, the character. So again, the details of the episode are very, very fun. Like if you notice all the little things, they put a lot of effort into it.
But yeah, so I'm going to go yes on this one. JPO, what do you say about the Bizarro Jerry?
I'm kind of like Eric. Yeah, I didn't have it on my list. You brought it up. You brought up some good memories, but again, there's just things that I have higher, so no.
But Eric, we're going to go to you for your next nomination. What are you going to bring up?
Yeah, I think we should have. We haven't mentioned Jerry Stiller and how great he is, and we should have one of his two big ones. Well, he has a lot of good ones like the Mancier, but I don't remember which episode is that one, so I'm not going to go for that one. So I'll go for the usual, but the probably we should have is from the last season, the strike, the one where Festivus is brought up.
Festivus, yes.
For the rest of us. The Jerry Stiller is so much fun, and Kramer has a really good plot where he comes back from the strike to go back to work it's a
bagel shop.
It's not bagel. It is bagels.
Yeah, because he stands out front later and restrikes and goes, no bagel, no bagel, no bagel, no bagel, no bagel. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a good one. When I was first watching the series, I really wanted to celebrate Festivus. They didn't let me, and I'm glad they didn't let me. I didn't want to eat tuna at Christmas or around Christmas time, so I'm glad I didn't. But Festivus should be here at Strike. It's that episode.
But yeah, the strike. It's one of those episodes where I always don't remember much about it until I look at it. Until I look it up, it's like, I do actually remember this episode. And yeah, this is one that I actually really enjoyed just because like it's one of the few holiday episodes that Seinfeld have done. Because one thing I realized when going through their episode list, like they didn't do a lot of holiday episodes. And apparently, according to TV Guide, this is number 3 on their top 10 holiday episodes list. But that bit aside, I think it's a good episode. I'm going to say yes. JPO, what do you say about the strike?
Yeah, no, I had definitely Festivus. Probably the next one actually I brought up. So yes.
And yeah, Michael says in the comments it's H&H Bagels they go to, which is apparently a real place.
Yeah.
But Pierre,
what do I say about the strike? Yes.
Yeah.
No, it's going to be yes for me. This actually, I was debating, Eric, between the Bizarro Jerry and the strike for my next one. Yeah, because I have a Festivus for the rest of us T-shirt. I love the concept of Festivus. Yeah, the feats of strength and the pole and all that stuff, and the airing of grievances is great. But no, I got a lot of problems with you people. Yeah, Frank Costanza should be represented somewhere on this list. And yeah, it's a great Frank episode. Also, George is even plotline. This is the one where he invents the fake charity, the Human Fund, that he passes out the cards for at his job, and actually gets a check from his from his boss for the Human Fund. It doesn't know what to do with it. So yeah, it's still a very strong episode overall. And yeah, even for Festivus, I feel like is one of those things that has permeated even pop culture just in general beyond Seinfeld. So yeah, I'll say yes.
But yeah, with that, the strike is going to make the list. And comes to me, I'm going to go to the season 5 and bring up the dinner party episode. And yeah, this is one of those. And this is the episode where they all are preparing to attend the dinner party when, and then a lot of things happen, which kind of delays, and like just one of those ones that has a lot of stuff happening in that, and I think it's just really entertaining just to. Especially when you see like with Jerry and Elaine stopping at the bakery to find these babkas and all that. It's just I think it's just entertaining seeing all the stuff that sort of happens when they're all preparing for this dinner party and that. So yeah, JPO, what do you say about the dinner party?
It's a good one, but we are at the nitpicky stage. So I gotta say no.
Piers, what do you say about the dinner party?
It's a very casually funny episode. Again, a lot of good moments. Yeah, the chocolate babka, Jerry throwing up for the first time. A long time because he eats the bad like black and white cookie. Them trying to break the $100 bill at the liquor store. I mean, George's absurdly large Gore-Tex jacket. I appreciate a lot of the nuances of the episode. But yeah, it's not like one of those classics I put up there. So I'll say no.
And Eric, what would you have said about the dinner party?
Yeah, a similar issue. I remember laughing at that episode. I remember liking that episode. It almost made my list and it didn't make it, so I would say no.
JPO, it comes to back round to you. What is the next episode you're going to bring up?
All right, the one I'll bring up, season 8, episode 13, The Comeback. This is, of course, good George Costanza episode of how he's just willing to do anything to get that retort because of the jerk store. What's going on here? Some good side stuff, too, of the tennis coach. And also, too, I really enjoyed the Elaine falling in love with a certain person's picks, just to find out it's a very young future Emmy winner, Danny Strong, Buffy alumni, but that's the point.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I got to come back here.
Piers, what do you say about the comeback?
Yeah, she then she goes with the other guy who recommended Weekend at Bernie's. She's like, "It's so stupid. This is so stupid. He's dead." No, it's very funny. This is some good stuff. I was debating between 3 or 4 JPO. Luckily, the comeback is one of the 3 or 4 I was considering. So if it's one of those, I'm gonna say yes, and it's fine because we're gonna shout out some honorable mentions, obviously. And yeah, not everything can make the list, but yeah, this is a great one. Just George's pettiness. This is like the ultimate of George's pettiness on display, where he gets slammed and he just can't let it go. He just can't let it go to where he flies to another state to go with Jerk Store. We're going with Jerk Store, and it just bombs again, and he gets slammed again. It's great, and yeah, it's a full on like kind of George highlight episode. But yeah, everybody else is still having fun with this one. So yeah, the video store stuff is fun too. So yeah, I'll say yes to the comeback. It's a good one.
And Eric, what do you say about the comeback?
Yeah, that episode is one of the reasons George is my favorite out of the 4. Mm-hmm. I think you can relate to his pettiness a lot, even if you wouldn't go to those extremes. But he's just hilarious at it. Jason Alexander is just the best in the whole series. Yeah, I'll say yes because there's a lot of episodes I want to talk about, but I might as well give it to the honorable mentions as well. But the comeback is a really good one. So
we'll all have some honorable mentions, of course. We'll shout out, obviously.
Yeah. But yeah, I like the comeback enough. I would have said yes to it. And yeah, and it's one of those ones that even the side, like a lot of the side things, I found really entertaining as well. So the comeback is going to make the list and close it off. Eric, what do you have as for some honorable mentions?
Yeah, the very first one I was thinking about is the pool guy. Mostly because of the Independent George monologue. I just love that monologue. I go back to it a lot. Like, you're killing Independent George. Like, I love coffee shop George, body George, liar.
I like that George. I like that George. Movie George. I like that George.
And he's dying, Jerry. I love that monologue. He should give him all the Emmys.
A George divided against himself cannot stand.
Yeah.
Sorry, I know I'm bumping up against you, Eric, but it's only because I know the show so well. I'm just helping your argument, so I'm trying to.
Yeah, I go back to that monologue a lot. The other Gary Stiller one I was thinking is the Serenity Now, of course. Like, Serenity Now. That's just a great one. The yada, yada, yada.
Oh, no, not fine. Serenity Now.
Serenity Now.
It's a really fun episode where he drops the man in the middle of the surgery. The pitch, one of those really meta episodes I really like. That whole plot in that season, I do not love everything, but that first episode I really, really enjoyed. This is the first one. We see Susan and the switch, the one where somebody already brought up, where he tries to go to the other roommate is a really fun one. And the puffy shirt. The puffy shirt is also really good. And there's a lot.
For me, some of the ones that I really enjoyed, the jacket, the label maker, I thought was fun. I was this close to nominating the pitch at one point because I think the pitch is a fun episode. It was like, but then we did have the Chinese restaurant on here too. The English Patient I thought was a really good one. Just with Elaine, just sort of over explain what
I hate it.
But yeah, JP, what are some honorable mentions that you had?
Yes, if I had on mine, the Switch you just mentioned. We find out Cosmo Kramer. The Package, got some good Uncle Leo stuff in that. The Hamptons, I think is a fun one. Shrinkage, it happens. The Race still beats the guy in the end. And we mentioned it, but we didn't get to mention it. Hello, The Voice.
The voice.
And Austin, was some honorable mentions that you had?
Yeah, other than the backwards episode, JPO, we're on the same wavelength because I also had The Voice, which I just watched before we went live. It's one of my favorites that I go back to because I love the George Play Now plot line where they keep trying to get him to quit and he just won't quit no matter what they do to his office and what they do to him. It's just very funny. Yeah, Kramer with the assistant is very funny in that episode. Darren, making the appointments and whatnot is good. Yeah, the package, that's the one with the sexy George photo shoot, doing all the different poses with Kramer. So that was very, very funny. Yeah, the Hamptons is a great like non-New York episode. Yeah, out at the beach house with the shrinkage and the ugly baby. That's breathtaking. Yeah, all that stuff is great. And then I also love the abstinence. Is a really funny episode where George doesn't have sex and he gets smarter, and Elaine gets dumber when she doesn't have sex. And then that also is the exact same episode. That's another banger from start to finish because Kramer. It's a Jackie Childs episode where he gets the smoker's face from the smoker's lounge. Your face is my case, and he sues the tobacco companies. So yeah, that's a great just banger episode from start to finish. But again, I could go on and on about like great Seinfeld episodes. I mean, I could do a top 50. Like they're just this show is amazing. So yeah, I was gonna say yes to a lot of stuff tonight.
Yeah, and some of the ones that have been mentioned in the comments. We've got the cafe, the airport, the dinner part, like the ADM, the ride, the switch, the note, the breeze, the alternate side, and
just shows you how good the show is.
So damn many. I don't think there's like there's some sitcoms where it's like here's the definitive like top 12. Like everybody agrees on this. This one's like everybody could have their own like list of their favorites, the ones they click with, and like they could all be great.
Doing some
like, really funny
some studying and remindering for this here.
Yeah,
I saw lists all over the place. Like I saw lists where like things in the 90s were in the top 10, and so yeah, no, it really just shows that it's just and then don't forget this is the heyday of TV where like what is it, season 2 and on is all 20 episodes. We're only getting to talk about 12.
I saw a lot of two different lists that had the number one of the one where George becomes Latvian Orthodox, like he joins the religion, and like that's a funny episode, but it's not like in my top. Like, but I saw two different like
there's some stuff I disagree with
the list
on both.
Yeah, so like it's very funny though. But I mean, yeah, but you put the show on, man. It's one of the great casual watches where, like, even the episodes that are like okay have amazing moments and are still good. So, yeah, it's a great show.
But yeah, it's time to get on to actually ranking the 12 episodes we've got on the shortlist. We've got the Chinese restaurant, the contest, the parking garage, the opposite, the outing, the library, the chicken roast of the boyfriend, the Merv Griffin show, the soup Nazi, the strike, and the comeback. JPO, what do you have at number 12?
I'm gonna say the opposite.
Austin.
It's gonna have to be nitpicky reasons. The lack of Kramer says the Chinese restaurant for me.
Eric, what do you have for 12?
I went for the chicken roaster.
We've got 4 tie off the bat because I had the library.
Okay, yeah, this might be a little wacky.
So we're going to go to the chat. So you got the library, the opposite, the Chinese restaurant, and the chicken roaster. The first comment I see will be the one that that breaks the tie.
I don't know. Do not know how to rank these ones. It's tough.
Yeah, this is tricky. Yeah, I don't know like where to go with this.
Mine was the first one that came in. It's going to be the opposite.
Who are you, George Costanza? I'm the opposite of every man you've ever met.
But Piers, what do you have for number 11?
I'm gonna stick with the Chinese restaurant.
Eric, what do you have for 11?
I'm sticking with the chicken roaster.
I'm sticking with the library. JPO.
Go to the chat. The outing.
The outing.
So, we've got the library, the Chinese restaurant, the chicken roaster, and the outing. Which one of those is going to break the tie? And the first comment that comes up is the one that is going to be the tiebreaker. And once again, one is the first one in, and it is going to be the chicken roaster that's going to be.
Oh, you guys are knocking out like my personal sentimental favorites. I love the chicken roaster. Newman, you wouldn't eat steamed broccoli if it was deep fried in chocolate sauce.
But Piers, what do you have for actually Eric?
Eric,
What do you have for 10?
I have the Merp Griffin Show. Sorry, pass.
Oh damn, y'all are killing all my favorites.
I'm sticking with the library.
It's not me too. That
JPO.
was my number. I still have the outing.
And Piers.
Just so you guys don't keep knocking out my favorites, I'll say the library. So we'll get one on the list.
But for number 9, I'm just going to quickly write it but luckily a lot of these titles are very short. But I'm going the outing. JPO.
Yep, the outing.
Piers.
Switch it up and go the boyfriend.
And Eric.
I'm sticking with the Merp Griffin Show.
But that is going to be the outing at 9. But JPO, what do you have for 8?
I'm gonna say the comeback.
Piers.
The boyfriend.
Eric.
The Merp Griffin Show.
I'm probably going to be sticking on this for a while, but I had the Soup Nazi.
Whoa.
But so we've got a tie. We've got the Soup Nazi, we've got the Merv Griffin Show, we've got the boyfriend, and we've got. Remind me, JPO.
The comeback.
Once again, the first comment I see out of those 4 from now, but it is going to be the boyfriend. So that's going there. Piers, what do you have for?
Let's go back to the Chinese restaurant.
Eric, what do you have for 7?
I'll stick with the Merp Griffin Show.
I'm sticking with the Soup Nazi. JPO.
The comeback.
Comments,
So
be ready. Be on the ready, because yeah.
So we've got the Chinese restaurant, the Soup Nazi, we've got the comeback, and we've got the Merv Griffin Show. The first comment I see came in straight away, and it is Michael, and it's going to be the Chinese restaurant. Ryan came in just a little bit after that, but it's going to be the Chinese restaurant.
Can you remind me what was 12, 11, and all those again? Sorry.
Or what we have left? Or
yeah, I'll say what we have left. Just give me a second to actually write this banner.
I'll list off what we got left. I got it written next to me. The contest, the parking garage, the Merv Griffin Show, the Soup Nazi, the strike, and the comeback are all left.
What's the last 2? Sorry.
The strike and the comeback. So Festivus and the comeback, essentially.
Yeah. Thank you.
But Eric, what do you have for number 6?
I'm sticking with the Merp Griffin Show.
I'm saying with the Soup Nazi. JPO.
I forgot.
Are you sticking with the comeback?
The comeback? Are you sticking with it?
Yeah. There you go. That makes sense. Yeah, let's do that.
That's fine. That's fine. I'll with you on that one. I'll go to the comeback. So we want to go to the comments on this one. But I like this top 5. These are all good episodes. So contest, parking garage, Merv Griffin, Soup Nazi, strike.
Yeah. But I'm sticking with the Soup Nazi. JPO, what do you have for 5?
I'll actually agree with you. I'll say the Soup Nazi now.
Piers.
The parking garage.
And Eric.
The Merp Griffin Show.
But the Soup Nazi is going to be at 5. For me, I'm not going to just so I don't waste time writing on my whiteboard at the same time. I'm going the contest. JPO, what do you have for 4?
I'll say The Strike.
Piers.
Parking Garage.
Eric.
Merv Griffin Show.
So I've got The Strike, The Contest, The Merv Griffin Show, and The Parking Garage. The first comment I see will break the tie.
Like the final four.
The final four goes to the goal. Yeah, it's fine. No, I mean, but again, it shows like everybody's personal preference. It's all good. Like I like all these episodes.
Right.
But the chat is both unanimous on the Parking
Garage. All right. Oh man.
But JPO, what do you have for number 3?
Now I'll stick with The Strike.
Piers.
Yeah, I'll go with The Strike.
Eric.
And I'll stick with the Merv Griffin Show.
And I'm sticking with The Contest, so it's going to be The Strike.
Okay. Well, I know what Eric's going to vote for number 1, and I know what Malcolm's going to vote for number 1. So it's up to me and you, JPO, for number 1. If you do the math, you can kind of figure out what they're going to vote for, since we're jumping to number 1.
But now, instead of voting for number 2, we're going straight to number 1. Piers, what do you have for number 1?
I think it's a quintessential Seinfeld episode, and it's a reason it won an Emmy, The Contest.
Eric, what do you have for number 1?
Well, I'm glad. The Contest.
The Merv Griffin Show. JPO.
Are we going to the chat? Nah, we're going to say The Contest.
The Contest.
Yeah, the very first one you reference in the chat. Like,
we're all master of our domain here on this show. That's right.
It wouldn't be the first time the
I have
chat
done it in 2 days.
Number 1.
I'm out. But the Merv Griffin Show is a damn funny episode. Just so like it's a hilarious, absurd Seinfeld episode. Like just with just a nonsense premise. Yeah, Kramer setting up a Merv Griffin Show in his apartment. It's absurd, but it's really, really funny. And just interviewing everybody about their activities, like it's great. So yeah, that's one of my favorite later season episodes.
But also, just when JPO said, "Are we going to the chat?" We had Michael come in with the
Merv Griffin.
But with that, our top 12 Seinfeld episodes we have at number 12 we have the opposite. At 11 we've got the chicken roaster. At 10 we got the library. At number 9 we got the outing. At number 8 we got the boyfriend. At number 7 we got the Chinese restaurant. At number 6 we got the comeback. At number 5 we got the soup nuts. At number 4 we've got the parking garage. At number 3 we've got the strike. At number 2 we got the Merv Griffin Show. And number 1 we've got the contest.
That's a solid list of Seinfeld of like a variety of different types of episodes that they did, and all like I think a nice conglomeration of like what the show could do in different aspects. So I like it. I like the actual list. It's good.
But with that, next week is episode of Rankum. It's been a while since we've actually done a movie episode. So we're going back to a movie episode for a change. It's good. It's so sadly it's not just SNL topic. I didn't put it on the poll, but it's going to be a top 12 horror movies from the 2020s so far. So it should be a lot of fun. Maybe you'll see Austin back again for that one. Who knows? They haven't done one yet.
I voted for it, but I know you. Yeah, I mean, I know you don't like having or don't always prefer to have people on, 2 in a row if you can't find anybody.
Oh yeah. That's right.
But yeah, if anybody else has a priority with me, that's totally fine. I understand.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes like there are occasions I'll make an exception if I know someone's really passionate about that topic, which I know you love about horror anyway. But JPO, where can people find you online?
Did anyone else hear that?
Nope.
No, man. Of course, I have my main channel when I'm not here, or Movie or Network, or the Lonely Marks Thursdays at 10. We always talk pro wrestling. Is the Piersco. You'll find me over there, middle of a huge yearly tournament maybe you'll see some familiar faces pop up in that, and as well as other shenanigans over on that channel, and abroad too. Just sign up for probably Why We Love Horror coming soon, and yeah, appreciate you having me, Malcolm, and good talking some Seinfeld.
Mm-hmm.
Piers, where can people find you online?
Yeah, mostly over on the Movie Hero Network, kind of co-hosting or hosting a lot of the different shows over there. Wheel of Movies, Tier Ranker Fights, Tournament Fights, Podcast League Now, all those kind of shenanigans. If you'd like to hang around the YouTube space in general in about 2 hours, over on Mega Movie Z, that's Wolfman's channel, we'll be doing our monthly mistake drinking game just later tonight. So if you'd like to watch along with Madam Web and see us drink along to a bad movie, we will be doing a drinking game to Madam Web. So it's on Netflix. You can join us if you like. Yeah, we'll be doing that just later tonight in about 2 hours.
Eric, we can build for you online.
Yeah, it's always fun to talk about the undeniable Kaborka of Seinfeld. I love that Ellen Knight uses that word every once in a while. Kaborka is just a fun word. Yeah, you can find me like 2 weeks ago. I was on Rankem talking about non-horror characters that should have a horror movie, so that was fun.
Mm-hmm.
I'm nothing coming up soon, but you can check out the Movie Hero Network, the Pierce Code, WWT, CWT, Lights Out, whatever. I'm mostly everywhere these days, but not in the next couple weeks probably. So that's why I don't have anything coming soon. But you've seen me before, probably.
I think it's cool that you use Seinfeld as one of your shows you latched onto learning English. That's pretty awesome. I think that's pretty great, and that you're still a fan of it. That's
yeah.
just cool.
I had a good reason to wake up
use
early.
TV or movies to learn another language is pretty cool. I dig it, man. So that's cool.
Should have learned French like Kevin Owens. You're watching Raw. Not the other way. Whatever.
But you can find and you can find me on Tape for Darkness hosting Ranking every week. Next week is going to be top 12 horror movies of the 2020s to now. You can find me on my personal channel, Middle Earth Media, where I host my show Spare from the Past. And I'll have Matt Majo on this week to talk about Vengeance from 2006, which is a show of entertainment. And you can find me popping up here and there, all over the place. I will be in something coming up. I don't know exactly when it's dropping, but I don't even know if I can say what it is yet. But just once it is ready to be announced, I'll announce it when it's began. Yeah, until next time, see you next time. And yeah.
Hello?
This is Frank Costanza.
What do you want?
You think you can keep us out of Florida? We're moving in lock, stock, and barrel.